looking at?
Hey there! This podcast contains adult language and themes. Listener discretion is advised. If you are looking for a highly organized, thought provoking podcast about science fiction,
if you're looking for the answers to tonight's Jeopardy,
I am. Always. If you're looking for a podcast that walks you through the lives of the wives of Henry VIII,
or if you're looking for the questions to tonight's Jeopardy, I don't know which one is the right one because the answers are
the question.
Then this is not the
podcast for you. No, I'm Sarah. That's Haley, and this is Rewind, the hot mess Star Trek podcast you randomly stumbled upon, probably. Hit it. It's just like the instant, like,
it's the stuff that we have to say.
And that's where we lose the people who just randomly stumbled upon us. Only the dedicated, like, half a dozen are still listening because they think it's funny. Thank God.
Yeah. So true.
Oh, I love it. How are you? You look fantastic. Your hair is so long. You just have this glow about you. I swear to God. Love that lady.
It's called getting up at 7:15 and because that's when I get up. That's early. Yeah, that's early for me. Normally it's 7:30 because I had to go to the office today. And I also had a meeting with a financial advisor because that's what I do now. My parents told me to do it, so I was like, okay. But yeah, so I have my mask on for the outside world. But thanks. Just take the compliment, Haley.
Just take the fucking compliment. We just lost 5 minutes of fucking I'm just kidding. I love you.
How are you? Do you want to go first? I want to hear about you.
You want to hear about me? Let me tell you what's going on.
Tell me.
Okay, so Sons of Anarchy rewatch. You know, I did this recently, and this was always a show we loved together. Right. Well, I've got something to tell you, and I'm gonna lower my window here so I can get a full reaction on your face. I've decided officially my favorite member of Sons of Anarchy is Bobby Elvis. Let me tell you. Let me do my argument. Hear me out.
Get in line. Mm-hmm.
He bakes banana bread, cookies. I mean, just picture that. It's adorable. He's an Elvis impersonator. Love that. He pays his child support, so he's not a total deadbeat. And he was super loyal and had more of a moral compass than many of the other members. And I just watched the episode where he was tortured and killed, and it was really sad. Anyway, we're done with rewatch.
So I feel like we had a discussion ages ago that Bobby was always going to be the safest and best choice if we were ever going to have to choose in real life.
Oh, yeah.
Because he takes care of business. He's also good with numbers. He was like the accountant.
He sure was.
But who killed him? I can't remember.
He was taken by Augustus Marx's guy. Remember Pope had the right hand man, and they took out his eye. They cut off his fingers, and then they brought him to Jax, and they were going to do the trade-off, and then last minute, they're just like, boom, right in his head because of the whole... Because remember how Gemma killed Tara, and then she lied that it was the Asian gang members?
Yes, yeah.
In this big, everyone just got murdered. Yeah, so that was it. It was very sad.
I don't really remember that, but I feel like I remember being...
I didn't really remember it because I only remember the earlier seasons much better because I watched them more.
Well, over and over and over.
Oh, totally. And I forgot that in the last season, all of that lying that Gemma did resulted in all of Dios's women getting slaughtered, and it was horrible. It was a bloodbath that last season. It really
was.
So was Mayans. Their last episode. Spoiler alert for anybody, and I don't think you'll ever end up watching Mayans all the way through. It wasn't that great. It had some moments where I really enjoyed it. I found it really exciting, and you get into it and you have characters you like. But the final episode, the cops, dirty, I think it was dirty cops, because the guy from Sons of Anarchy, the tall nerdy guy that wore the brown leather jacket, that
Yeah.
Worked with Roosevelt. He was in the show, and I think it was like him or somebody else in Dirty Cops. They showed up to the clubhouse and slaughtered all of them. Like the entire club got slaughtered in the last scene, except for one guy escaped with his kid and like ran off to like the lead guy's brother or whatever. I was like, whoa, okay, you definitely don't want to do a spin-off series with any of these people. You just murdered them all.
Well, yeah. Hope there's no plans. Also, between that and Sons of Anarchy, I feel like maybe being in a motorcycle gang is not the best thing for
apparently. Okay, and another thing TV related wise, you know how much I love Oz, right?
Yes.
Well, I found out recently, because it's like, I guess one of their big anniversaries or something, is that a couple of years ago, the writer, I think it was Tom Fontana, whoever it is, wrote the show, wrote a short movie for like this festival, and they just released it on YouTube the other day. It's 15 minutes long. It's two of the characters on having a phone call, basically, that they're both out, and he's like, "I'm gonna fucking come and get you for all the shit that you did in prison." And it was just this perfect little like 15-minute taste of like, are they hinting at bringing the show back or doing a spin-off? Because I was like, it's been 20 years. Like, anyway, that was really exciting.
That's so exciting. I love that.
Yeah, other than that, I've been watching Fallout on Prime. Have you?
Just one episode, but we're gonna be watching.
I love Walton Goggins.
His nose okay?
Oh my god! Yeah, what happened?
Also, Righteous Gemstones. He was in that too. Uncle Baby Billy.
Oh god, that show was hard to watch. It's so disturbing.
It's so funny. Like it's funnier and funnier. But Walter Goggins is like such a treasure.
Walton Goggins.
Well, I call him Walter.
Well,
friends call him
You're
Walter.
closer to him, so
sorry, Walton.
Did you ever watch? I don't know if I've asked you this, but have you seen the movie The Menu with Ray Fiennes?
I have seen it.
I just recently rewatched it because I couldn't stop thinking about it. It's good in a weird. It's different. It's I had something about it. I was like, this is unique. I
watched it at the same time as watching the Triangle of Unhappiness.
Oh, the Triangle Sadness.
Yeah, so and they both had some sort of food thing. So I and like Anna Taylor-Joy is in The Menu, and she was really good. But
John Leguizamo was in it.
Guess I need to watch it again.
Yeah, it's different. It's weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. Other than that, been watching a lot of hockey. Go Canucks.
Oh,
First game tomorrow. Yeah, go. Yeah, for once. And then listen to this. I not only did I get this treadmill, next week I have an hour-and-a-half assessment with a personal trainer. And then I'm going to Royal Roads for a tour of their gym and a walk through their equipment. And my pickleball skills and drill class starts up tomorrow night.
Oh my God.
I'm going to be playing tennis at 6 a.m. on Fridays and Mondays, I think. Oh my God. I'm doing a total body transformation. If you're looking for tips on how to change your body, this is the podcast for you.
Oh body break. That's very exciting. And
I'm excited.
Doable. And it's like movement that you enjoy. Also, getting a personal trainer to like tell you what's up with like your body and how it moves. Like I need that bad because I'm on account of all the hyperextending.
Yeah.
I did it once with Meg. Like I got her to come over on like New Year's Day. I was hungover. She's like, "Do you want to start with a run?" I'm like, "No, I don't."
No.
I know. I'm like, start with a run. I just got up. It's noon. And then she's like, "Oh shit. Okay, cool. It's gonna be one of those." And then gave me like a list of all these things to do. I still have the piece of paper all these years later because they're all like body strength exercises and it makes sense, but I never did anything with it. So
yeah.
But you're on your way. Where'd you get that treadmill?
Amazon.
The footrest thing that I just showed you. Amazon.
Oh my God. For the listeners, have you heard of this place? They got everything.
Amazon. This Bluetooth keyboard and matching mouse. Pink. Stop. Oh shit, I'm opening up a bunch of things. Don't.
Yeah. That's my stories. That's my update. You go.
Those are great stories. I am also watching TV. We're rewatching House, House MD, only it shouldn't be called House MD. It should be called House MC, which stands for House Medical Criminal. Like this guy like literally just canes around all day, high as shit, making sexual comments and or straight up like touching on his boss and or like belittling his best friend. And then just like treating before testing and then like ultimately saving the day but breaking 500 rules. And I'm just like I don't know how it works in the States with their medical system, but like I assume that hospital is always being sued for this guy's behavior and like patients are constantly suing. Anyway.
Yeah, you were mentioning on the last podcast, like we've been watching House. doesn't translate well.
Medical criminal.
Like, no. I can't imagine it would translate well with this environment that we're living in where it's like, because I remember Mad TV made a joke about House calling him McMeanie because they were making fun of like Grey's Anatomy, and it's like the show written by women for men, no, by men for women who like abusive men. And I'm really the show. Yeah. And it's like, I mean, that's not okay to be treated like that.
Not now.
Like that. No. It never really was okay, but it was tolerated because he was really smart. Or whatever. He
was really smart and really witty and like damaged. And it's so funny how things have changed so much. We're also watching Who Wants to Be a Millionaire UK.
Fantastic.
But just on YouTube, right? And so like they're all from 25 years ago and it's all UK. So it's all like who is the wife of so and so? And you're like, I fucking have no idea. But like there's one of the lifelines is ask the audience, and the audience can choose out of the questions, like, or the answers or whatever, what one's the best or what one's right. And I just said to John, like, oh man, I would never do that because like, what if when you went to the bathroom, the audience talked about you and decided that they didn't want to help and that they were all going to choose the wrong answer? He laughed too. And I was like, he's like, what's wrong with you? I'm like, this is just, I don't know.
Where my brain goes.
I don't know. What else? Baby Reindeer.
I've watched more episodes. I can't get into it.
Okay. Well, maybe you can't get into it. It gets really. It's so like it's hard to watch.
It is hard to watch. I got as far as like I think I got past the middle. Like he was dating the woman with the bob, and then was embarrassed to be seen in public with her because she is a trans woman, and the stalker called him out on it, or being like, who the fuck is this bitch, or whatever, getting all jealous and shit. I feel like I saw something else after that. Oh no, he did a show, and she was there to support him because she kind of felt bad, and he was feeling like, he's like, I really actually really like you, so I think they're trying to reconcile, but I can't. And then she stood up to the woman for something like that, and it got punched.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
The I can't remember what her name was. The woman he was dating, but she got punched in the face. Yeah. Thank that.
Okay.
How much more intense does it get? Like, just spill it for me. Spoil it for listeners. If you don't want to know the spoiler, come back in like a minute or two. But you can tell me because maybe it'll be enough that I'll actually want to watch it.
Did you see the parts where he was introduced to the comedy writer at this fancy party he somehow fandangled his way into?
Oh, and then he was drugged up and assaulted by them multiple times.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I saw that. Was that like a one standing episode where it kind of gives you that whole story?
Yeah. And then
that guy's not a good guy. Clearly.
Right?
There's a nightmare.
And then there's he goes back on stage, but he just like instead of doing comedy, he just sits and he tells everybody what happened. Like the audience. Like in the comedy show.
No, hold that thought though. My boss just came up on my thing. So
okay, go.
Pause this.
Yeah. Yay.
Sorry about that. Duty calls.
Don't worry about it. Our tax dollars at work. I worked too. I was like, who the hell's calling me right now?
What the fuck is going on? I thought it was Sunday.
What is this? Yeah.
Oh, where were we? We were talking about Baby Reindeer, and
Baby Reindeer.
I couldn't pick up on what you had said, so we'll come back to that another time. We'll have that as an offline conversation. Either way, I couldn't really get into it. I'm still trying to get back into watching the True Detective 2 with Jodie Foster. And I do really like it, but it's like I have no time to just sit and watch something by myself and give it my full attention. So it's
Oh
on the
yeah,
list.
no. If I have like, so John's gone for a couple nights and I'm just like, oh, I can watch whatever I want. I have no shows or interest or
Yeah.
attention span for that. So I'm just
Yeah.
gonna fucking watch Family Guy
Yeah.
again
Yeah.
because it's comforting and I don't know, whatever. Like,
Yeah. Or whenever I have time to myself, like instead of like watching the thought-provoking shows that I know Brad won't watch, I end up watching like Selling OC, Selling Beverly Hills, and I'm like, oh
love
yeah,
is
trash
blind.
TV. Yeah.
Yes, it's there for a reason. Anyway, moving on to fan sets.
Yeah. Hey, listeners, we'd like to take a moment to talk about our epic, amazing, super rad sponsors, Fansets. You know who they are. And keep listening because they got lots of pins on their site right now, including the Eureka class logo from Lower Decks, an autograph pin, a Booker from Disco. God, he's hot. And
Cute.
the Retrospect Studios Spock pin. That's the local artist from Nanaimo who does those phenomenal paintings. She has a pin now through Fansets. Amazing.
You
and
know you've
also,
made it when.
Right? That is like to me, that's like the icing, the cherry on the top. They also have a frozen version of Badgie from Lower Decks. Very cute. So obviously they're coming up with great new things all the time and they're going to keep doing that. So you know what to do. Go to the website, check out all this cool stuff, load up your cart, use Trek Geeks, caps, one word, 10% off. Thank you, Fansets.
Our pins have character.
Do. Character. All right.
Picard.
Season 3, episode 3. What was it called? Disengage?
Yes.
Fun fact. I paired this episode with a Caesar, some leftover sockeye salmon, and a Greek salad. Just so you know. Paired nicely. Shall we just get into it? And we'll just do as we've been doing, these little subsections of part 1s and part 2s, and then break it down?
Yeah.
You into it?
Yeah.
Do you want to take turns talking the part 1s, part 2s? So it's just not my annoying voice, or do you care?
There's no such thing as an annoying voice. Though I thought I heard my own voice. It was someone else's voice, but I thought it was me, and I was like, ugh. Anyway, ugh. Ugh. I want you to read what you've written because I don't know if you do this, but I write it kind of, when I write for me because I remember like how I'm going to do the inflections and stuff, and I don't want to screw it up.
Okay.
I definitely have enough. I have like a lot to say.
You got a lot to say? We got a lot to unpack on this one.
We do.
All right. Part 1. Red alert is blasting. Vatic is chasing, and the ship is throwing in some evasive maneuvers. Everyone on the Titan is being jostled left, right, and center. My neck aches just from watching this scene. Oh my God. I would be so bad on a show when they're like, all right, everyone to the left, to the right. I'd just be like, I'm out. A crewman looks at Jack angrily and blames him that this is all your fault, punk. And Shaw is all about that warp. No, and Riker is the ultimate backseat driver to Shaw and suggests that they should just hide the ship as opposed to outrunning it, which is what they end up doing. They are now out of sensor range, but to quote Shaw, there goes the sensors. Cue the dramatic music and opening theme song. Bum, bum, bum. Very quick opening. Not much to say. What do you think?
So good. Well, first off, may I just say again, ripping great job on labeling the Blu-ray episodes, everyone who worked on the Blu-ray discs, because I was like, shit, what is this? Like just 1, 2, and 3 would be good. Just say it. Even on the disc 1. Like, anyway, you had some sockeye salmon and a Caesar and a Greek salad. I hammered 2 boiled eggs with Trader Joe's dill pickled mustard. So I had a mouthful of those and was trying to explain what Riker had said about the Shrike with a mouthful of hard-boiled eggs. John's like, what did he say? It's not a ship, it's a what? And I was trying to say guillotine, but like it's hard to do when you have a mouthful of if you have a mouthful of crackers, there's like cracker pieces everywhere, but it was like egg. Anyway, so the Titan lost the Shrike. for now. And then I was like, I wonder how the 17 seconds comes into play. This one was called 17 seconds. The other one was called disengage.
Thank you.
But as soon as I wrote that, I was like, wait, I already remember.
Mm-hmm.
Back to you.
Back to you in the studio. Okay. So part 2. It says before on the screen, which thank God I saw that, because I said this last time, this is where I get confused if I'm not paying attention. It's a flashback scene. A toast to Riker's firstborn son. Cue the song, cue the boys are back in town. They're just hanging out at the bar, a couple of bros. Riker talks about the birth of his son. It had complications, and they were on the Titan at the time. And he says it took 17 seconds. Oh, there it is. The longest turbolift ride of his life, because he was freaking out that there was problems, and Troy was maybe going to die, or the baby's going to die. And he was like, in that moment, I became a father. And oh shit, side note, nice to see that hundreds of years into the future, the patriarchy still reigns supreme, and women are left to do all the child rearing and have to bark at their husbands to step up and stop drinking. Oh, I hate that. In
Bring the whiskey.
Every show ever that ever had a baby born, there's always the scene where the husband and the father is out drinking and smoking, and the wife is yelling at them. It's like, why? Thanks. This is so tired. Anyway, that's just my. Anyway, back to the present time. The ship is still hiding and doing repairs, and Shaw asks for some more weird shit to be thrown at him. That's fun. He's got the best one-liners. I seriously love it. Like, it's just,
and he delivers them so well. Like, yes. It's just like it's really him. He's just kind of like, oh, fucking, what's next? Like, and like, not to hijack your, but like, I just was not having him the first time I watched through, because I was like, hey, you let Picard and Riker do whatever they want. Nice. Don't you know who they are? But this time I'm watching it with a different attitude.
You can enjoy it a lot more. Yeah. And I always kind of wonder, like, I'm sure this question has been asked of him a billion times, and I bet I could find the information out there if I Googled it. But a part of me wonders, like, how much of it was scripted and how much of it was kind of him just like, that's fun. Like, just these little side, or just the way he delivers it, maybe is just what makes it so good. Like, he just nails that personality type of just I'm over it. Like, it's just so relatable. While all this is happening, Sydney LaForge makes her way to visit Seven and check in on her, and she calls her Commander Seven, which is so cute. I like Sydney LaForge. Good kid. Meanwhile, Dr. Crusher is doing her best to help out, but the actual doctor bites at her about how much things have changed in 20 years. I love how this is a running theme throughout the whole show, that everything has moved on, guys. You're old. You're so out of touch with everything, because it's just so... It literally is how I feel a lot of the times when I look at new apps and new things at work and my phone. I'm just like, no, don't update. I just figured out how to use you.
Yeah.
What is this AI? Like, I'm so scared. Anyway, I know what this is. I learned about it on The Office. It's called ageism. Creed, they're coming for us, man. Picard comes into the sickbay now, and it's time to talk. Oh boy. She talks about being on the Enterprise and the shore leave they took, how she knew then they were at an end, and Picard was like, first time I'm hearing about this, lady. We were on and off for like 5 times in a row. We were on a break. That was the day she got knocked up, and she defends her choice to not tell him. Picard defends himself, saying if he knew, he may have walked away, but like, she made the choice for him. This is heated as fuck. They both make such excellent points. Their couples therapist would be so proud. Her justification was that Jack would always have a target on his back because of who his father is. She wanted to protect the last person she really had, since her parents were gone, her ex-husband was gone, and Wesley was out and about doing Wesley things. So Riker and Jack talk, and Riker is amused by by just watching Jack pacing, and how he watched him get cooked up for years before he was born. I love that. And defends Picard for being a great man. He's a great man. And Jack confesses that his mother would talk about them all the time, and when she did, she would always light up, but then she would grow sad. Back to Bev, and she talks about how her and Jack help planets the Federation has forgotten. She gives history on how Jack is always being hunted and attempted attempted to be taken, and she has no idea as to why they are after him. And then they throw in the whole Jack's accent comes from when he went to school in London. Good save, writers. Lastly, still going, no commercial break yet. Picard wants to apologize to Shaw, and a crew member spots the Shrike out the window, and Shaw is less than pleased. Vadic shoots at the ship, folks go flying, including Shaw, and it's not good. He is hurt, and he's not happy about it, so he just decides to transfer everything to Riker. You got us in this, you get us out. And he's taken away to sickbay. Riker maneuvers himself classically into the chair, and they start firing back with great success. So much to unpack, Haley. Let's get started.
Over to me.
Yes, please.
To the before times when they're sitting in the bar. The CGI is not good.
Okay.
Like they were able to do this for Alan Rickman and Sweeney Todd. Like when they do that flashback of him walking around the marketplace and he finds that girl and kidnaps her, he looks like 25 years younger than when he was when he filmed that. And then there's the conversation about the 17 seconds. Riker says, shit, it makes me uncomfortable when they swear still. And you're right about boys being boys, leaving the women to do the dirty work. I gotta say, I was chatting to someone recently and she was like, yeah, I'm dating a woman right now and it's so refreshing to not have to explain the fucking patriarchy. She already gets it. And I was like, I hear you. On the ship. Without resisting Shaw this time, I'm seeing what a fucking awesome captain he is. Like, he's trying to look out for his crew, and, you know, he's just level-headed. I also really enjoyed the interaction between Sydney and Seven. I think, like, yay, a little, like, girl power.
Yeah.
That the new doctor's a bitch. Like, let Crusher do what she needs to do as long as she has a valid license to practice. Like, she's not going to do any harm, so she's taking care of bumps and bruises, but whatever. I wish, like, during Picard and Crusher's back and forth, first of all, like, just kiss. But I wish they would just stop fighting. Like, Bev, if you had given Picard that one more chance that he didn't even know he had after Data died, like, that's when it could have worked if he had known. Like, we do a lot of things where we don't tell people what we're really feeling. So, like, I get where she's coming from. He didn't know. So what if they were on and off 5 times, this 6, 7, 8, 9 times? Boys work a different way. I don't know. Men are from Mars, women are from Venus, as I like to say. He makes some really good points about things he missed out on, but, like, he could have explored things with other women. He's like, that was my chance to be a father. I'm like, really? Like, no, it wasn't. Also, you could still be one now. Also, now you are one. Yeah, like, she had a tough choice and she chose her. So, like, is that so bad? But like you said, good points made on both sides. I'm not sure whether to be mad at Bev or support her choices. Like, when Jack said that she'd talk about the old crew and then she'd get sad, those were all opportunities for her to reach out if she wanted. Like, it's easier than ever now to get in touch with people. I can only imagine it's even easier in the future. But then, like, doing so goes against the choice that she made to cut and leave. So... But now she's back and she needs a favor. So it's like, it's tough. Now every time someone says Jack is Picard's son, I feel like a moron because the last episode I said that I found out he was Picard's son. Like, yeah, like, how many times can it be said? They've been saying it from the beginning. They say it all the way through. But then I remember, like, I was changing my mental health meds and I was so fucked up. Like, I had no idea what was going on.
You're still waiting for Janeway to show up. You're like, well, Seven's here, so I'm like,
what is this? John sends two cents so far. What the hell are shields even for? After the Shrike hits. I mean, it's true. Like, it's a first. Anyway, that's all I got for that.
Oh, you got. My standouts were that I did really love the scene between Picard and Bev. It was acted so well. Like, you just see so much emotion in Picard's face and hers, and they're so hurt and defensive, which just shows how much they still love and respect each other. Like, I just thought it was such a well done scene. Like, it was so brief, but it had a punch to it, you know? I do think it was wrong of her to keep Jack from him, but I understand, I guess, where she's coming from in the sense that mother's instinct and I've lost so many people, but, like, yeah, like, oh, you always said you never want to have family. Well, shit changes when you find out. Like people can just
here we
people
are.
can
Like,
change on a dime. It happens. Like,
mm-hmm.
but there was a lot of I kind of found like this is a really long portion of the show before there was a break, and there was a lot of just talking, but it was good, like important, like building of relationships, especially that ones that are important that we see later on, like Sydney and Seven. Like that little scene was so cute, and it just kind of shows like that little bit of hero worship that she kind of has for her. um the battle scenes are really intense this season. Like I remember when I was watching this, I was like, these guys are fucked. Like this ship is never gonna last. It's such a small dinky little ship. They're gonna get just ripped apart, and everyone's getting thrown around and jostled. And everyone's like, and just like the intensity of this episode so far, like the way people are glaring at Jack, and Shaw's already injured. It's episode 3. He's, everyone's pissed off. And I mean, if I was Shaw, like I'd be so worried there'd be a mutiny, because if everyone's pissed off that there's this one guy who's causing us all to almost get killed, how could you want to stand by your captain when he's got his hands tied? Like it's just so like this. It's like an onion. This series. There's just so many layers of onion skin. Yeah, and yeah, and so everyone's just like stressing out, like, why are we risking our lives for Jack, Picard, and Riker? What a confusing shift at work. Am I right?
Like, well, totally. Like, I was expected to go home after this, but I guess we're like fucking in the edge of Federation space with this new lady who's kind of.
I thought we were going to a big celebration of First Contact Day or whatever it's called, like Star Trek Day.
Yeah, what the hell?
And here we are, like half of us are dead.
Yeah.
Oh God.
What the? Yeah, it's really gritty.
It is. It's good.
It is good.
It's movie quality.
It is.
It's very, very movie quality. Yeah. Okay, part 3. Raffi time. She wakes up to the news playing on the TV thing and then turns it off and hears classical music, and she sees Worf doing his Klingon Tai Chi. Babe alert. I said it. She comes at him with a phaser, and within seconds he throws a knife, and she asks who he is. Oh my gosh, she doesn't know who he is. Like, this is crazy to me. And he gives this epic long title, including House of Roshenko, and then just offers her up some chamomile tea. She recognizes his name instantly, and he's a legend, and he's also been working on himself. Adorable. She learns that he's her handler, and he says to think of him as a subcontractor because of the whole, like, are you Starfleet? Are you not Starfleet? What's going on? Raffi is going through withdrawals because of the drugs that she took previously with Sneed, and they're barking at each other about who's right. Classic Worf and Raffi already. Worf gives her the update on who the new baddie is, and they are going to go to work together, and she's down with it. She thinks it's cool. Back in sickbay, Shaw is struggling to breathe, and Dr. Crusher goes old school and saves his life from internal bleeding. And he asks Jack in his like breath of pain, like, how does she keep finding us? And Jack's is like looking at his blood on the floor, and then you can see the light bulb turn on. He's got an idea. He tries to get to the bridge, but is turned away because they're on red alert, nerd. They take the ship out of the anomaly, and Vadic is still right on him, and she uses a portal weapon, and it's like this like black hole, like weird, like you're showing up here, you're showing up there. It's crazy. And it causes the Titan to get pulled deeper into the anomaly they've been hiding in. It's crazy technology, and Riker doesn't want to fight. He wants to go back into hiding. Yeah. What do you think?
So intense. First of all, Worf is so handsome.
Oh God. He's so handsome.
Like, he's been handsome the whole time, but like, I also, when I was writing this, I wrote hand scope. That is not a word. It isn't even a word in an Urban Dictionary. I loved when he said he was the bane to the Duras family. Like, yeah, you are. Me too. And then here's one. Sugar and chamomile tea. This is a throwback to me in college, getting a large chamomile tea with sweetener to tide me over instead of eating. Good choices. Thanks, diet culture.
Thanks, Obama.
Thanks. Worf's voice is much less intense than it was in TNG. I think it actually, I feel like knew, or like we knew that it hurt his voice to lower it when he was on TNG, but it also fits with his new kind of like Zen style, not to be so raw. That was Worf, by the way.
Nailed it.
He leaves Raffi with nothing to say because he outlined a very sensible plan. On the ship, Riker, I've seen the difference between the Titan and the Shrike. We have to hide. Oh yeah, I've also seen the difference between apples and oranges. Am I right? Don't even try to make that fruit salad. What the fuck? I was writing this. I look over at John. I'm like, just so you know, I'm writing a joke right now, and it's pretty good. Fucking, that was it. I think Bev saved Shaw. I wrote shaved. I completely started daydreaming after. Yeah, I started daydreaming after the fruit salad comment. I was really pleased.
Please, just fruit punch.
Nice. The portal weapon is so kick-ass. Like, how annoying to think that you're getting away and it's like, psych, you're right where you left, further behind even. Like, yeah. John's roundup. He called Riker a wimpy loser for wanting to go hide again, and I agree. Is it always nighttime on Natalis Prime? Worf looks like he's going to a leather club.
Yeah, he is. Oh God.
Yeah, on the ship, the doorbell tone is my text tone for John. Nice. So like when it was going off, I kept looking at my phone. And then when Worf was like, beheadings are on Wednesdays, I was like, that's what my pencil case says, because I bought a pencil case at the last Cherry Bomb show.
Oh, cool.
Well, I bought two, but the other one is Star Wars. And John's like, what's on Wednesdays? I'm like, beheadings. And he's like, heading? I'm like, beheadings. And he's like, oh.
God, took him a while to get there.
Beheading.
Oh my God.
Anyway, that's all
I love it. I love the new mindfulness Worf. I mean, how adorable is that? I've been working on finding myself. It is so cute because it's so different from the Worf we know, but it also is realistic to a seasoned warrior who, you know, you didn't watch Deep Space Nine, but he goes through a lot of shit on that show, and there's a war, and which comes up obviously later in this episode. But you know, he's had time to take a chill pill and reflect, and I'm sure there's like, you know, I don't do it that way now, and like it's so funny because Raffi's like, you're a legend, and then she's like meeting this version, she's like, not what I was expecting. Like, you're a little bit more subdued.
Totally.
But they play off each other so well. Like, what a chemistry.
Yeah.
Like there's a sitcom. There's a half-hour sitcom right there. The Raffi and Worf show. Like, sign me up.
Like, I could just see him like, I'm home, and she's like, don't forget to hang up your batleth. You left it on the stairs last time, and I tripped.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. All right. Part four. Part four. Extreme. Okay. Back on the party planet where it's always night. Raffi, her and Worf are bantering hilariously. Worf is dressed in casual gear, and Raffi is rocking her cape. They chase after the bad guy, and Worf catches him and tosses him onto a table like it ain't no thing. Back on the ship, the crew are running around like chickens with their heads cut off while Vadic fires upon them repeatedly. Jack rushes to Seven, mumbling about blood in the water and breadcrumbs that the ship is leaving so that Vadic can find them. And she's like, I'm on it. I get what you're trying to say, kid. And now they got to formulate the ultimate plan. Jack punches a security guard, total badass move. And with Seven, they rush to possibly save the day. There's damage to parts of the ship. It's obviously sabotage. Listen, all y'all, it's a sabotage. I can't stand it. Someone on board is helping the bad guy. They are leaking some kind of gas the ship is using to detect them and hunt them. Also leaking some kind of gas, Frank.
I saw you waving the air around.
Oh no, the guy from Fast and Furious is beating up Jack. I knew he was the bad guy. I called this as soon as I saw him because he's a good character actor. But also he's a changeling. Also he's a ninja. Who are the bad guys this season? It's the changelings. Fun. They can change into anything. That's what a changeling is. Haley, thoughts on the changelings? Thoughts on Worf's funny banter about beheadings being on Wednesdays? We've already been there. You jumped ahead, clearly.
I forgot. I'm sorry.
No, that's all right.
That's okay. No, what happened was I neglected to differentiate between part 4 and 3. So the changelings. So first of all, ew. Like, I don't like them. Okay. I don't like the way they look. I don't like the way they are. They seem mean. Having not seen DS9, I didn't know that there was any real significance to them other than that they're a good enemy because of their like shape-shifting nature. So I don't get the meaning behind them being like a problem, like a deeper problem. That's cool. That's kind of all I have to say about this part.
Yeah. That's all I have to say about
it. It was a short part. It was a short part compared to the others. But beheading on Wednesday.
Yeah, it was. I didn't really have much. I didn't even write anything down. But now that I'm thinking about it, I remember when I first watched this and you see that the guy turns into a changeling, I was like, I was like surprised and like a slow clap, like, well played. Like, this is something different. But this is something that for those that were huge fans of DS9, like, you're pulling in like a little bit of history there. It'd be like if you watched Insurrection, or if you watched First Contact but never watched TNG, you don't really get the Borg being such a thing. So that's where you're kind of missing. Like, you can kind of pick up on something. Oh, they're going to reference some shit. But like, I only saw DS9 through once, so I really don't have a lot of. There's people out there who would know so much more than I do, but I do remember a little bit about it. And just so when I saw a changing show up, I was like, this is cool, because like you're just so used to the same villains, right? Like, it's always just the Borg, where it's always just the Cardassians, you know what I mean? Like, it's or it's always the Klingons are doing. What are they up to again? Those crazy Klingons, those crazy Klingons.
This season, I think, is the first time I felt like like true surprise at things. Like, no, obviously, like, we're talking about spoilers later, but like, John was like, I can't remember what the deal is with Jack, and he's like, just tell me. I'm like, do you want me to? But he's not a hardcore Trek person. Like, the Borg was new to him when, and so, like, it's just, I don't know. The show is so real to me. Like, I remember, like, when it all kind of was like landing for me, and I was like, oh shit, like, changelings everywhere, Borg everywhere, like, this could be bad.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know where it's gonna go.
I know. Yeah. It was a lot. They packed in a lot for one season. Especially because seasons are so short now. Like, I remember with TNG, it was like, there's 21, 23 episodes a season. Like, now there's like, you get 2, and you're like, what the hell? What the hell?
Limited series. Like,
3 episodes after 4 years. Thanks a lot, Black Mirror. Like, Christ.
I know.
That show's a hard. They got new season coming out though next year, and they dropped
Black Mirror.
Yeah, I do love that show. Me too. Okay, part 5. Five. Raffi is interrogating the bad guy who seems off. He's all sweaty and shit. We learn Worf no longer shoves swords up places. He's wiser now. Raffi thinks he's going through withdrawals, but perhaps it's something else, he thinks. Meanwhile, Jack wakes up from the attack and sees Seven with visions of red vines behind her. What's up with that? There's also like a random red door. Seven tells Picard Jack is injured, and he rushes to him while, just like $6 million man, while Dr. Crusher tries to help him. Picard is in the turbo lift, and it's just like Riker's story about the 17 seconds, people, for a full circle moment. Here we go. Now he's flatlining. Oh God. Crusher is on it. Picard is there too. It's tense, but he pulls through. Yeah, baby. All right. Raffi is still barking at the bad guy. Name forgotten. I never paid that to. It was a weird name, but
doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. A distraction. Oh, I'm running out of time. I gotta go fast. Oh my God. Okay. She's barking at the bad guy. A distraction was made. Something else was stolen from Daystrom Institute, and now we learn the bad guy isn't human. Boom. he's a changeling too, and he just can't hold his form any longer because changelings have to revert back. Bleh. They have to revert back to their liquid form after so
Thank
long of a time.
goodness.
So that's why
Thank
he's like,
goodness.
right,
Ugh.
right. Um, fun little side story on Deep Space Nine. I think it was the first season, there was one episode where they had a guest star of Loxana Troy, and she gets caught in a turbo lift with Odo, and you know how she's all flirty McFlirterson and stuff, and he was struggling, and so he had to melt, and she held him in her skirt dress so that he could. It was very sweet. It was a very cute little Loxana episode.
Sorry, Odo was a changeling?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And when Odo was on Deep Space Nine, he was only known as a one of a kind. They didn't know anything about where does he come from, who are his people. It becomes later on in the series, but for the first number of seasons, you're kind of led to believe he's kind of like a Data. He's like a one-off of either he's the last one of his kind, or he was created. We don't really know much about him, and then you learn later on that there's a whole link. It's a shimmering lake. They all just are part of or whatever. So that was Odo. Odo in a nutshell. This is Odo hour, the Odo corner. Where was I? They think there's going to be okay. Picard is out of line according to Riker, and they're getting saucy, sassy, spicy, salty. These two are the four S's. And Riker even has to remind Picard that he's the captain of the ship. Back to the Changeling and Worf and Raffi, he says their worlds, Solid's worlds, are at an end. He melts into bacon grease and disappears. Jack has just enough energy to tell Seven there's a Changeling on board. Worf reminds us the Changelings were an enemy of Starfleet after the Dominion War. There was a schism, and then a rogue faction appeared. And an old friend, a man of honor, and we think he's obviously referencing Odo, told Worf of this rogue group. But if Starfleet acknowledges them, it's setting up another war, possibly. That's what's going on. Or what is going on. So is this a distraction? We don't really know. So Worf thinks they need to get to the Daystrom Institute and find out what actually is going on, and that him and Raffi are now officially partners. Did we just become best friends? Let's go do Batleth in the basement. Riker wants to prepare for warp. There's no trail. Seven tells him about the Changeling, and an explosion rocks the ship, and they can't go into warp now. What's next? Picard once again says they have to fight, and Riker thinks it's suicide, and they have no options. Fire everything we got. She fires back. The ship is hit. Engines are down. The music is giving me heart palpitations. I can't even. The Titan is spinning around in darkness. They are sinking towards the gravity well, and they have no control. Riker turns to Picard. Remove yourself from the bridge. You just killed us all. Oh, what an ending. Are you kidding me? Dude, what do you have to say about this?
I don't like it when they fight. I mean, talk about being stuck between a rock and a hard. Well, you know the rest. It's what are you supposed to do? And what is going to happen? I mean, I don't remember what happens. I know what happens generally, but I liked it when Riker's arc us around for a rear assault, and I was like. Also, I also thought that Shrike, man, that thing is outfitted. It's got rear weapons, it's got sensors, it's aware, they're playing a game, they're gonna find you. But it's this is an intense show, and yeah, the interaction between Picard and Riker on the bridge, I get that the stakes are high and that stress is intense, but it made me feel unseated or something. I didn't feel safe because suddenly I don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
These two who have gotten along forever are not seeing eye to eye on something pretty serious. And yeah, I don't know. It just feels like it's all coming down to I don't know. It's so stressful. Ugh, and they're not even in gravity well yet.
Yeah, it is stressful.
I have a question about the Dominion War. Is that the Changelings War thingy, and is that related in any way to the Wolf battle at Wolf 1715 or whatever?
Well, Wolf 359 or whatever was when Picard was Locutus.
Okay.
That was
and
that.
The Dominion War.
Dominion War, and come at me on Twitter when I get this totally wrong because I don't really remember. I just remember it was Deep Space Nine, and it was the Changelings. It was the Casey Biggs's character. He was a Cardassian. There was Jeffrey Combs's character, who was a Blue Orion bad guy, and this is not helpful at all. So I'm going to go to Trekipedia and look up what is the Dominion War, and I'm going to just do it right. Okay.
Yeah.
Deep Space 69. That's a different type of Dominion War. Okay, Deep Space Nine Dominion War. There's a Wikipedia page for it. I love it. Here we go. Because it was a really extended, as it says in Wikipedia, an extended plot concept. And that was why I struggled with Deep Space Nine, because it was very much a type of linear show that if you missed an episode, you're fucked.
Yeah.
TNG was standalone episodes for the most part, right?
Yeah.
So this was an extended plot concept developed in several story arcs of DS9 and American science fiction television. Okay. The Dominion War is a conflict between the forces of the Dominion, the Cardassian Union, and eventually the Breen Confederacy against the Alpha Quadrant Alliance of the United Federation of Planets, the Klingon Empire, and later the Romulan Star. So I think a lot of it had to do with the fact that there was the Deep Space Nine had the wormhole that went to a whole other galaxy, a whole other, the other quadrant, the Alpha. And so it was the people that were on that side of the wormhole wanting to come over, you know what I mean? Because how Voyager, they got set off to the
Delta.
Quadrant. Yeah, so this is the Alpha Quadrant is where the wormhole goes, right?
Yeah.
So that's not everything else. It's the Alpha.
Oh.
Because the wormhole takes you like hundreds of years in the future. That's why they want to try and find a wormhole on Voyager to get home, because before it was discovered, like all those alien races over on that side of the wormhole they were just like Neelix and stuff. Like no one had ever gotten to that distance. So their factions and bad guys over there want control and be able to come over to the Gamma Quadrant, which is where Star Trek takes place, right? So it was, I think the Changelings are on that side of the principal setting of the series is Deep Space Nine, located. It's a wormhole near Bajoran. It's a Bajoran wormhole. Travels to the Gamma Quadrant, a region on the other side of the galaxy. During the second season, Deep Space Nine, the Dominion, a powerful empire in the Gamma Quadrant, is introduced. And over the course of the second and third seasons, more information about the Dominion is revealed. Conflict escalates through the fourth and fifth seasons as the Dominion infiltrates Alpha Quadrant powers and eventually forms an alliance with the Cardassians. Okay, so the bad guys on the other side of the wormhole start making alliances with the Cardassians to be like, we're taking over. Fuck you, Starfleet. And open warfare begins at the end of the fifth season when the Dominion briefly occupies Deep Space Nine and continues until the Dominion is finally defeated in the series finale. The Dominion War arc presents themes that challenge the values of characters in a manner not attempted in earlier series of Star Trek. Developing the plot of the Dominion War also altered how the series was scripted, shifting emphasis from an episodic to a serialized thing. That's right. I forgot. Like they full on occupy Deep Space Nine and like try and kick him out and take him over, which is interesting because Deep Space Nine was originally owned by the Cardassians when they were like the Hitler to fucking Bajor, right? Like the Cardassians like to occupy Bajoran planet and like enslaved the people and raped and murdered them, and then they cleared them out. Starfleet takes over Deep Space Nine, like, we're here, we got a wormhole, we're gonna be the nice guys, and then the bad guys on the other side are like, fuck you, we'll align with your bad guys, aka the Cardassians and whomever else, some of the Orions and like Casey Biggs's character, and like let's try and like battle it out together. And they seize control. Yeah, it was a really, actually, like thinking about it now, like how we're talking about this is such a drama, like gritty. Deep Space Nine was gritty. Like
it sounds like it.
I'd say go back and start it like the season that Worf joins. So, you know what I mean? Like getting there in the middle, like starting like season 4 or something and watch the last few. Maybe that's what I'll do.
Yeah.
Anyway, we have less than a minute. So I will pause us and we will join back again and we will talk some more.
Okay.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay, bye.
We are back.
We did it. I started working again, so F that.
Oh boy. When's John back?
Thursday night. I'm picking him up from the airport. He's just in a little place called Prince George.
Ooh, how royal sounding.
Indeed.
Land of opportunity. What are you doing on Saturday? I will be all day at the chosen community hall for the Women's Wellness and Metaphysical Show, selling my stuff.
Yeah, yar. No plan?
Well, if you guys are out and about and you're going to the crazy cookie house or something, stop by. Take a look at all the junk people are trying to sell and pawn and zen you out. Maybe Worf will be there.
He's got his own chamomile tea.
Oh my god, I love that. That's a marketing thing that they got to do. They got to sell Klingon chamomile, chamomile with a K because it's Klingon, right?
Right. Oh, perfect.
There we go. I love it. Anything you want to say about the final scene before we move forward into some trivia and goofs and fun facts and other shit?
No, I mean, I'm glad I know what the outcome is, so I don't have to stress out about it.
Yeah, it was stressful because I'm thinking back to what you said on our last episode, how John kind of hinted like, people might not come out of this alive. Like there was definitely an air of like anything could happen. This is the final season. You know that this is going to be a huge kind of send off to this cast and crew that you're just like, oh God, if they even think about it, like I'd scissor kick somebody in the jaw.
Yes.
Yes.
Don't
All right.
touch our beloved people.
Don't even think about it.
Don't do it.
All right. Well, let's take some turns then, sharing some of these little point form notes I got here under the trivia and goofs. You want to start us off with the first one?
I will.
Okay.
The music playing when Worf is practicing his combat moves is the same opera Picard is listening to in his ready room at the beginning of the film Star Trek First Contact, 1996.
Fantastic.
That is cool.
It is cool. Thank you, Internet Movie Database, for all of the following fun facts. Ricka was the bad guy that was all sweaty. Played by Thomas Dekker. This is his third appearance in the Star Trek franchise. He had previously appeared in Generations as Thomas Picard, one of Picard's children in the Nexus. He also appeared as Henry Burleigh, a character in Captain Janeway's favorite holodeck program in Learning Curve, 1995, and Persistence of Vision, 1995.
Do anything else? Or are you just a... Am I right? As the Titan goes deeper into the nebula, followed by Vadic, a few bars of music from Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan, can be heard. The last act of this movie famously featured a starship battle in a nebula, to which this alludes.
Well, there you go. Worf refers to Odo when he said that a friend, who was a man of great honor from the Great Link, approached him and warned him of a new threat. Worf and Odo were regulars on Star Trek Deep Space Nine, 1983, which Worf joined in the fourth season. Odo's actor Rene Auberjonois passed away sadly in 2019, and he has never been forgotten.
No, that was sad.
Yeah.
God, 2019, that's like not long ago. It feels like, well, I guess there was a global pandemic. Yeah. Akin to Riker's anguish over his earlier turbolift trip. Once Picard gives the command to the turbolift, the trip ends at 17 seconds.
There it is. Clever. As Jean-Luc and Beverly discuss their past and her decision to several ties with him, several references are made to events from the movie Star Trek Nemesis, which was released 20 years earlier.
Wow. 20 years? Go to hell. Right. I didn't pick up on those, like, and then like a whatever exploded meters away from you. I was like, I know what that is.
Yeah.
Praetor, I know what that is. Goofs. We're moving on to goofs. Picard is retired from active duty. Although he is still granted the respect and most of the privileges due to an officer of the rank of full admiral, he has no actual authority. As Riker was made acting captain of the Titan, he has the authority to order anyone off the bridge if they are interfering with the operation of a ship. There have even been times in other Star Trek series where a captain was able to have an active duty admiral removed from the bridge because that admiral was endangering the safety of the ship. Like every admiral ever, am I right? Like, right. Oh my God.
Those admirals are just nothing but trouble. Captain Riker, it's so weird to say that, says to Picard, remove yourself from the bridge. This means he's given Picard an order. However, Picard is an admiral outranks a captain, and a captain cannot order an admiral to do anything. However, Riker has been officially placed in command of the ship, which gives him absolute authority on the bridge, even over a retired admiral. We just did this. What is this, Groundhog Day?
You know what? I'm going to go to IMDb and I'm going to downvote this second one because I don't think it was as eloquent and it was a waste of our time. In the Flash,
I did like though when he first takes the ship and then Picard gives him a suggestion and says to him then, I think you should refer to me as number one. It was really cute.
Too funny. Cute. They are friends. In the flashback scene, Troy calls Riker at the bar and asks him to bring the whiskey he's drinking with Picard. However, when he leaves, he doesn't take the bottle.
Oh my God. Big mistake, buddy. Big mistake.
Dude, you saw how like beside herself she was. Bring it home. Yeah. Leave it with her.
The baby's already projectile vomited all over engineering. Yeah. All right. Also, courtesy of Jim Morehouse, who was writing over at trekcore.com, we have some more fun facts. I'll start us off. The Klingon Worf introduces himself as Worf, son of Moog, House of Martok, son of Sergei, House of Roshenko, Bane to the Duras family, Slayer of Gowron. He might as well have given Rafi a copy of his resume.
Also, isn't that just like the usual way that a Klingon introduces himself?
Who is but I think it was always just Worf, son of Moog. Like he always was always had it really simple. And then he's added in like the whole Sergei, House of Roshenko for some pride for his human parents. And
well, he should. And, fair enough when he's meeting a brand new person.
Yeah.
7 of 9 keeps a chrome model of the USS Voyager on display in her quarters.
Cute. As Beverly recalls Picard's brushes with death over the years, she references Riemann assassins who went after him in the Denatra sector, likely named for the Romulan commander seen in Star Trek Nemesis.
Oh. After the Rika shapeshifter reverts to his gelatinous form, the worst, Worf fires a dolphin phaser at it, the same style introduced in Star Trek Nemesis.
Some people have so much experience with all things Trek and they spot such interesting little tiny details that I never would have thought.
Nice way to say that.
Yeah.
What we really want to say.
I could be found quite as guilty of the same type of thing when it comes to things like Harry Potter. Like that's where I know a lot of like small, minute details that are just like not necessary in my brain. But you remember what you remember. Or song lyrics. Like, do I need to remember song lyrics of commercials that used to air in the 80s? Not really, but they're there.
I straight up sang Kelly Clarkson's Breakaway for the first time in like 14 years. Like every single word I knew it. I was just sitting in the back of a car, like it was on the radio. I was like, I'll spread my wings and I'll learn how to fly. Like all the everything. Anyway, It's like anyway.
It's just awesome. It's just one of those things. For the first time we can remember on a Starfleet ship, a rear window is part of the bridge configuration on the Titan, thanks to the open doors to the briefing room. For much of the action in this episode, the visual effects team impressively showcased the nebula in a corridor at the back of the bridge level where Shaw actually positions crew to look out the goddamn back window when their sensors are down to help track the strike.
Didn't even really notice. Shout out to Casperia Prime, where apparently Jack was conceived. Ew. The vacation planet has been mentioned a couple times on D69. I mean DS9. Sorry, that was so lame. Anyway, change of heart and Inquisition, but has yet to be seen.
You know what? It's nothing to apologize for because remember at STLV when Mr. Frakes came on board and referred to it as Deep Throat 9?
I mean,
you gotta love him. Poor show. The writers figuratively have Beverly wave a light over Jack's English accent, which is explained away as having stuck from his time schooling in London.
What's funny is that, like, I'm not an actor, but I do sometimes do a British accent. And I just wonder if it would not be just easier to not have to. Well, it doesn't matter. What's done is done. But he didn't have to have a British accent.
No, I think they just went with what the actor himself speaks in and decided to go for it.
That's fine.
Yeah. I find it, I used to think it was a ridiculous thing to say, like, oh, you went to school somewhere for like 9 years, 5 years, however long, and you picked up the accent. But I only went to Texas for like 4 days and I was coming out y'all within like, you pick up on this stuff actually quite fast. It is a thing.
Absolutely. Yeah, I
Yeah.
have a girlfriend of mine lives in the South and anytime she visits, she's all y'all and I'm like, "Who are you?"
Yeah.
But like as she spends more time with people here, she'll like
Become,
lose it a little bit. But
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's fair enough.
Yeah, it's cute.
Verterium, the source element being used by Vadic to secretly track the Titan in the nebula, was previously referenced in Voyager's investigations. I think that's the name of the
Yeah.
episode, as an element used in the construction of warp coils. The Verterium link is discovered by Seven and Jack.
Yeah. And lastly, Marina Sirtis appeared briefly in reprising her role as Deanna Troi the first time we've seen the live action version of the character since season 1 episode Nepenthe. She has also appeared on one episode of Lower Decks, no small parts. She will return later in the season. Do not worry.
Yeah.
So thank you, Jim Morehouse and Trek Court, for all those extra little details. So lots of stuff. Yeah, that's that's it. That's all. I have a just off the top of my head. Here's an idea, and I'm going to throw it at you, and you're going to hate me for it because you don't like having to shoot off the hip really
Can't
fast.
do
But
these. I can't
if you
do it.
can't do it, if
Okay.
you had to introduce yourself in the style of how Worf does, what would you say?
Oh, here I was like typing it into an AI so I'd have something to say.
Oh my God.
I would be okay. I would be like, well, I guess I would have to say my name and then be like, daughter of so and so, sister of yada yada, projecting everyone's identity. Um, Slayer of Dragons. No. Like this is a good one. Do you want to think on this? And then when we come back in the next episode, we can introduce ourselves as such.
Sure. I could use some time to do a serious one because I'm only thinking of like Sara, son of Dave, maker of miniatures, owner of Jack, wrangler of
Yeah,
Frank,
I know. I'm feeling like all I
best
can think
friend
of
to
is
Haley,
yeah, I work in public. All I can think is like, how does this
eater of
relate to my
pizza.
work?
Yeah. Yeah.
Killer of plants,
Yeah.
turner upper of heat because I'm cold all the time.
Yeah.
I
That's
I
funny.
like that though. I've never really thought about that. That's cute. I like that idea. Well, if we remember it, let's try
Yeah,
and think about doing that
for
next
sure.
time.
I feel like we also need to like do a little bit of a Google search and see if we can find any good games or personality quizzes or trivia for Picard, specifically
Mm.
season 3. That'd be really cool to find something, but I'll have to do a little digging around just to kind of get it back to our crazy antics. I can't think of anything
Yeah,
else right now on the spot. It was such a serious, intense episode that I just wanted
it
to,
was.
and I think it's kind of fun too because like when we go back and watch all the TNG episodes, it's like I've seen this a million times. Like let's just talk about stupid funny shit because we're just like,
Yes.
but this is so good and there's so many things happening and the first time I watched it, I just like binged it and just needed to see it through to make sure everyone was okay. That to sit now and watch it and really pay attention, I'm just, and there's lots of good information on the internet to really pick up on all the subtle clues. I'm like, no, I just want to actually fucking talk track. Like this is like so good.
Totally. I
Yeah.
know, same. It only took us 50 episodes to get here. So, one thing too, I was looking up when Jack has his sort of like intense visions or whatever, and there's all those red viney kind of like they look like blood vessels to me. I looked it up because I was like, what are those? Because it made me think about his blood vessels. But anyway, no one knows.
No one knows. The thing that I remember when that came up, that scene, I instantly was kind of like I was not happy. I didn't like it. I was like, I thought it was like because it kind of reminded me too much of what was going on in Discovery when there was the Red Angel or whatever it was. I can't remember what it was called, but that was a whole big thing for the
Red
season.
woman.
And yeah, the red, yeah, and then here's the red lady, and here's like and there were red vines and a red door. And I remember Picard in the visions of his mother and the door, and I'm just like, this seems like didn't we just see something like this? But it ends up, obviously I have no complaints about the season really, and I get to the point,
Yeah.
right? But
Yeah.
at first I was just like, where are we going with this?
I don't need this. Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
No, but
On another
it's
note,
good.
I
It's
have
good.
been watching a little bit of the final season of Discovery. I have it on my PVR. It's very much a show that I'll just have to binge it. Like I'm just waiting for it all to come out. Like I've watched the first few episodes and I was like, okay, like it's all right. Like it's still not my favorite show by a long shot, but I will be interested to see how they tie it up. Like how are you going to close the series? This is the end of it, so I'll probably get back to it because I want to see how it ends, especially considering they're like so far in the future and they have Tilly back for a lot of the episodes, it looks like, and that was always a good character. So yeah,
Killy.
I'll keep you posted on that. Killy, yeah.
Killy. Okay, yeah, do because I won't watch it, but it's yeah. I really liked the first season. The second season was also fine.
No, because you had Pike and Spock and all that. Like that made it. Yeah. I'm looking forward to the next season of Strange New Worlds. I've really enjoyed that show. Yeah, I'd like to rewatch season 2. Actually, it was quite good.
It is good.
Yeah,
that's a classic Trek show.
It's
exploring and yeah,
the hair.
Yeah, the hair.
So good. Awesome. Well, we did it. Look at that. We only got distracted by work and having to turn out a Zoom a couple times. Not too bad. Not too shabby.
Good, we're good.
What's for dinner tonight?
TBD, but like probably some sort of fish. Like I'm wanting sort of like a fish baked with panko, so it's all kind of crunchy.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, or air fryer, way faster.
There you go.
Yeah, something like that. I'm not sure yet. The fridge is full of food. I just don't know what to do. What about you? Give me ideas.
We're gonna have pulled pork sandwiches because Brad had the smoker out on the weekend and he smoked a pork butt and a couple of pork belly strips. So we had pork belly tacos on Sunday night with like I pickled my own red onions and we made like a slaw. And then we had leftover smoked pork belly in a kimchi fried rice last night. And so now we froze half the pulled pork, but we still left some out. So we'll do a classic pulled pork sandwich, but I don't know what to have on the side. So I think I might just make a Caesar salad.
Caesar salad's like so classic. I gotta tell you right now, I got like fucking bottles of the keg dressing.
Oh, yeah. Or I might do a macaroni salad.
Ooh, yum. With pulled pork, that makes sense.
Yeah, I think so. Cool. Okay. All right, well, let's close this mother out. That's it. End of scene. Thank you for listening to our 3rd episode covering Picard season 3. We're loving it. Hope you are too. Let us know somehow, some way, someday. Maybe leave a review on Apple Podcasts or something. Give us 5 stars, 4 stars. Maybe not. Don't be mean. You know the rest. If you want to know more about what's going on with this podcast and the network we are a part of, check out their website. There's tons of info about being a Patreon member and links to all the other fabulous shows on the network. Thanks to Bill and Dan, 5-Year Mission, for the music. And thank you, Fansets, and all of you for just supporting us. And thanks to Star Trek. Now that was a Star Trek. Until next time, you stay classy, listeners.
Lanolin? Lanolin?
Wait, like sheep's wool? How now, brown cow?
Okay, bye.
Okay, bye.
Is that it?
Yeah.
Are we also hanging up?
Coconut.